What is going on, guys? Welcome to another video on TGM Guitars. Just want to apologise, I haven't uploaded in a while, been a bit busy. I've got university work to get on with, currently studying for my degree in electronic engineering. So it's getting a bit mad. It's towards the end of the semester, as they call it, and yeah, assignments due in, revising for exams. Plus I'm having to do it all from home. So yeah, it's a little bit more stressful than I bargained for. But anyway, excuse out of the way. Hitting them, I need to stop doing that. I need to stop hitting my microphone, don't I? But yeah, excuses out of the way. I just want to say, anyone who's subscribed recently, thank you very much. If you haven't, please consider it. Consider leaving a like on this video. Up to 25 subscribers so far. I had a fair few comments on videos, people getting involved, giving feedback, which is always good. I'm happy to take feedback, good or bad. If you think my tones suck, please tell me. Just don't do it in a hateful way. There's no need for that. No need to be nasty, but I will listen. I will take that on board and try to improve my videos. I'm here to learn and get better at this as much as you guys are here to watch it, I guess. So yeah, let's jump into this video. So this is kind of a response to a comment. Back in my 2020 rundown video, I'll throw a little link up on the So this video is kind of a response to a comment, actually. Back on my rig rundown or gear overview, whatever I call it, gear rundown, that's it. I've got it right here on my phone. I don't know why I stumbled to name the video then. It's a comment. I went over all my gear in that, and I apologise, probably going to get your name wrong. I'll put the comment up here. I'm really sorry. Ketan Leho asked if I was going to make a video on the Marshall, and the plan was to make one. I was going to leave it a little bit longer, but who am I to refuse a comment? I try and actively get people to comment, so I'm going to respond to this now. So, quick overview of the amp. I'll try and put a nice sweeping shot here or something, just so you can see all the controls. And there are quite a few controls. So, first of all, the specs of this amp. Now, this is a 100 watt Marshall head, 4 EL34 power amp tubes and 4 ECC 83s or 12AX7 preamp tubes. So it's your classic Marshall tone stack, going for those classic tones that we all know from Marshall, but it's at an affordable price point. So this series of amplifier is made in Vietnam, I believe, which, yes, it's not made in England, but does that mean you should snub it and not consider it? I don't think so. I bought it because it was a good price point for me. I needed an amplifier that could do all the stuff this amp does, and I needed it for gigging, so I bought a 4x12. Yes, arguably that's a little bit too much, and it was my main gigging amp for many years. So this is a MIDI capable amp. If that scares you off, then you don't have to use it. At the end of the day, it's one of those things you don't have to use. You can get a foot pedal that controls all of the switches if you're not into that. So I used to use it with a Harley Benton FXL8 Pro, which is basically a switcher. Used to use it to change channel and get all the sounds I needed. I would demonstrate it, but I've recently set my pedal board up for the Vox, so all the patches are different. The amp itself is 2-channel, dual super lead, clues in the name, but each channel has 2 different modes. You've got your green and your red. So that goes from clean to crunch, that's channel 1, and then channel 2 is ultra gain and ultra gain 2. I've never used the ultra gain 2 properly, never really used it live. It was just a bit too fizzy and a bit too much for me, but we will cover it in this video. You've got a switchboard effects loop, built-in reverb, and 2 master volumes, which was the big selling point for me. Now, I'm sure most of you have all had the issue where you're playing live or playing with a band and your solo just isn't popping out. I know you can do it with EQ pedals and get the frequencies right, but sometimes, no matter how hard you try, you get drowned out. And having that second master volume to just bring that volume level just that little bit above without affecting the tone, which is the main thing, was absolutely brilliant. It was one of the most useful features that I had on it. So on my solo button, I had on, well, I've still got it on my switcher, but I've not got it set up. The solo button used to switch it over to the second master volume, which was a little bit higher, and put on my lead sound, and it worked pretty damn well. So I'll tell you what, I'll throw some clips up here of me using this amp live. Unfortunately, I can't show you any videos of me playing other songs that don't belong to me because, yeah, the whole copyright thing on YouTube's a little bit tricky at the moment. Okay, so that's enough of me talking. All of this is going to be run through the 2 Notes Torpedo Captor X using a 1960A vintage kind of cabinet, similar to what I've got, or their model of it at least. I'll get it kind of close as, or try not to ruin the sound. I'll be using the onboard reverb, not using any from the 2 Notes, just to give you an idea what this amp will sound like almost in the room. I know it's not exactly the same, but it's probably best to leave the processing to a minimum. So let's jump over there. Okay, so I've got the Marshall running into the 2 Notes as previously mentioned. I'm going through my standard pedal board. I'll pop up on the screen what pedal's going through it at the moment. But yeah, let's start. I'm going to start with the Stratocaster, mainly because I like the cleaner, crunchy sounds that this guitar makes. And yeah, let's jump in and see what it sounds like. Now we'll start on the clean channel, and one of my biggest bugbears with this channel is the volume deficit that it has over the crunch, and that makes it a little bit difficult to use. When I was using it live, this was the channel that I had the big muff on, so what I used to do was the clean channel wasn't really used apart from when the big muff was going through it. So my crunch was what I used for my clean sounds, and then jumped over to the clean channel for the big muff because it sounded better for it, but I had to boost the volume on the big muff in order to get it to kind of match, which is a bit of a disappointment, but what can you do? You can't win everything, but this amp does most of it, most of what you want, and it's quite a good clean tone. So I'll shut up now and start doing some playing. Don't know what that was, don't know what I'm playing, but yeah, so as you can tell, it's what you'd expect from a clean channel, to be honest. And let's try and first of all remember what settings I've got set up on here now and get some chorus for it. So let's put the MD500 with some dimension. So I'm probably going to equalise this and boost it a little bit in post because it is coming through very quietly to me at the moment, which, as I said, is one of the things that I unfortunately don't like about this amp. But, well, I say don't like about this amp, it's this channel on this amp. Rest of it, I'll happily use all day. But everything has a downside, doesn't it? So this takes pedals quite well. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to actually put the big muff through it, a bit like I used to use on this actual channel, and yeah, we'll see what this thing. So it really lets the sound of the muff kind of come through, which is how I like to use it. What I'm going to do is boost the reverb a little bit, because the reverb in this isn't over the top. For example, I'll tell you what I'll do now. I'll just play a chord, and that's reverb setting is about 3 o'clock, not 3 o'clock, sorry, is about 3. So if I put it all the way up, that's the max reverb you get out of this thing. So I used to run it quite high. Obviously you're not going to be painting any soundscapes with the reverb that's on board in this, but it does its job. Let's be honest, once this thing's cranked up, the room will provide enough reverb no matter how big it is. So let's back that off a little bit. And I've done the big muff through that. As I said, with these videos, I tend to just sort of do some tone tasting as such, or go over how I used to use them, which that was my big muff channel. So we're going to jump over onto the crunch now. This is what I used to use as my clean channel on this amp. It's that little bit louder. It kind of matches up better if you're switching from this channel to the ultra gain. So let's jump on in and listen to some tones, shall we? So it's just that little bit. I always like a sort of edge of breakup tone anyway, and with the single coils it definitely achieves that. With the Les Paul, which I'll jump onto in a minute, you kind of have to adjust it in order to kind of suit and in order to clean up. So what I'm going to do is just chuck on the chorus again, and this is actually a sound I used for recording, so yeah. So as you can tell, hit it hard, it starts to overdrive a little bit. Yeah, just as good as I remember it sounding, to be honest. I have been neglecting this amp a little bit recently since I got the Vox, but it does get its use every now and then for recording like little clips for Instagram and that. But yeah, let's jump over onto Les Paul, so have a bit more grit. Okay, so got Les Paul out now, still on the Crunch channel, and yeah, let's see what it sounds like when you push it. So, a bit more grittier, and I noticed my guitar went out of tune there, so let's just have a quick tune up. That's better. Right, so what I'm going to do now is kick on the Tube Screamer, and yeah, I'll put it into the mode I used to use it in, which is pretty much just as a solo boost. Yeah, so I do like the Crunch just pushed with the Tube Screamer. Shame I didn't show it on the Strat. It works pretty much the same, obviously with a little less gain because we go Strat. So one thing I haven't tried is the Klon, the Super Klon copy that I made. So let's see what that sounds like through it, because this is new for me. I've not put some of these pedals through this amp before. That's got a kick to it. I like that. I really do like that. That was another example of me forgetting how to play riffs I've written before as well. So yeah, I do like that. But let's not get bogged down too much in it, because otherwise this video is going to be really bloody long. So that's what it sounds like with a Klon style pedal through it, and yeah, I really like that. I would have been using that a lot more if I was playing live. That's quite a nice tone, and you back it off and it just cleans up so damn well. Yeah, I do like that. Right, anyway, let's not get caught up too much in that, and let's jump on over to the Ultra Gain channel. So this was my main go-to rock channel and sound if I was going for the more modern stuff, something that needed a bit more gain. And then what I used to do was kick the tube screamer on and have a little solo. So yeah, let's see what this channel sounds like. It's the channel I spent most of my time on. So yeah, let's have a play about. You know, doing some of this and rediscovering these amps and the sounds I get out of them. Bloody hell, yeah. This is the issue I'm going to have. Vox or Marshall for live. I know there's a lot harder decisions in life to make, but that's a difficult one. So what I did there was kick the tube screamer on and used it how I would have used it. So as you can tell, that kind of gain structure and that sound is classic Marshall. It will do anything from classic rock up to some heavier stuff. So what I'm going to do now is quickly plug the Stratocaster in, and we'll listen to that through the higher gain mode, and yeah, move on from there. You can tell there's a lot less gain with a Strat, as you'd expect, but still plenty enough. Way more than you'd ever need, to be honest. And as I said, it can do everything from classic rock to some of the heavier stuff. What I will do is chuck the tube screamer on again, just so you can hear it with a Strat, because you notice the sort of gain difference a little bit more. So yeah, tube screamer doing what it does best, tightening things up and just pushing it a little bit further. And yeah, let's get back to the Les Paul, jump over onto the Ultra Gain 2 channel. I'll do a sweep over of the settings. I've left the settings pretty much the same, pretty much how I'd used them. Got the bass pushed a little bit just to kind of bring out the fullness in these recordings. And yeah, let's jump on to the final channel, last but not least. So yeah, fair bit more gain on that. It's almost as if I've got the tube screamer already kicked in, but a bit more bassier and boomier, and that might be because I've got that bass turned up a little bit. But as I said, I don't usually use this channel, so I'm not too familiar with it, if I'm perfectly honest. I say I never used to use this channel. The only time I used to use it was when I was running through the cabinet at home. Because I had to put it on such a low volume, I basically used that channel because it gave more gain at lower volumes, if that makes sense. So because it had that higher kind of gain threshold, it just sounded better at lower volumes than the Ultra Gain 1 channel. So it was almost like a rhythm and lead sound there. But when I played live, when I went to rehearsals, I never really used this channel because it's not really for me. Now what I'm going to do is chuck this thing into drop D, because we're going to check out a little feature on this. You have a tone shift button, and that basically scoops the mids a little bit, which, I mean, Marshalls are known for their mid characteristics, so by taking those out you're pushing it more into the sort of darker metal, almost messer style of fault. So we'll do that and jump back in. So before I do that, I'll just play a little bit with the tone shift out, and then play exactly the same riff over again with the tone shift brought in, and you'll see the difference it makes. So I hope that served as a good overview of the Marshall DSL100. Now, the eagle-eyed among you might notice I'm in different clothes. This is a couple of days after my camera battery did run out, which is why it came to a bit of an abrupt end, that playing demo. But it's probably a good thing it did, because this video is getting a little bit long. But I hope it shows that this amplifier can do a lot of things, cover a lot of bases. Pair it up with a good MIDI switcher, and there's plenty available nowadays, whether you want just the looping capabilities or just the switching stuff for your amplifier, then there's plenty out there, and this amp will serve you well. It definitely served me well for a while, and as a covers musician, it's a great amp to have and take to a gig. The only reason I'm moving on and trying out the Vox is because I want to try different things. Gear acquisition syndrome and being a guitarist means that I have a tendency to change things up all the time. But anyway, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed this video. Leave a comment, rate, subscribe, all that good stuff if you enjoyed it, and looking forward to future stuff. I think that's all my amps except the Vox, which I'm leaving a little bit until I've had the chance to really crank it in a rehearsal, which hopefully shouldn't be too soon, with lockdown finally kind of reaching the end. I want to say we're getting there. But anyway, thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.